What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? You know who I am, you know what I do, and you know who I do it for, and it's most certainly for you. Welcome to yet another edition of the Checkup, where I, your host, Dr. Rectangle, give you all of your gaming information, news, and opinion post-haste. And without further ado, I don't need any bad ideas by Nintendo ruining this video, because Capcom has done that already. Now, with that being said, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite is on the horizon, and apparently will be releasing in September. I say apparently because Capcom and release dates, they go as well together as Crips and Bloods. They do not seem to mix. They tell you a release date, and next thing you know, delay! Story mode? Delay! Character coming out? Delay! Game coming out? Delay! So, let's just take this September release date with a gigantic, humongous grain of salt. And by grain, I do mean a whole fucking cavalcade of a salt mine, but we'll just move right on past that. Now, with what we have seen, I've noticed a few things that are quite staggering and kind of upsetting to me, so let's take it from the surface. What the hell is this, Capcom? I mean, this is something I would expect from BioWare. This amateur, unpolished looking pile of garbage. And I'm not talking about the gameplay itself, because I haven't played the game. I would never talk about a game's gameplay that I've never played before. I'm just confused as to why this looks like a mobile game. And don't get me wrong, I understand a lot of you are going to say, well, Dr. Rectango, this game's not out yet, so this probably isn't the final build. And you're right. But a game does not go over a miraculous overhaul in the course of 4 months if it's going to release in September. Remember that tentative release date I was talking about. So if this is going to release in September, this isn't going to change in such a huge drastic manner that it's just going to be the overhaul of the century. Because if they could do all that in 4 months, then tell me why it would look like this now. I mean, don't get me wrong, a lot of fighting games do not have the best UIs right now. I mean, look at Injustice 2, that's looking pretty mobile as well. But this right here looks pretty unacceptable for something that was as stylized as Marvel vs. Capcom 3 and as different and stylized as Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Now, another thing I noticed in this video that you're watching being played on the screen right now is that there is an auto combo system. Look, me and auto combos never got along, but I understand if you want to try to simplify it and make it easier for a casual market to get into, you put in this auto combo system. Now, even if you were to put that on the back burner, you pick one or the other, Capcom, not both. And what do I mean by pick one or the other? If you're going to put in an auto combo system, there is no reason on the planet Earth why you should make the special moves even simpler to do. Because apparently you're going to get rid of one of the most iconic motions in fighting game history, the DP, or the forward, down, forward, and you're going to replace it with down, down. The DP, the Dragon Punch. You mean to tell me a move that 9 times out of 10 has your character going up is going to have the special input of down, down? So you mean Super Smash Bros. Is going to have a better input for a DP than a game licensed and authenticated by Capcom? Nintendo, maybe you haven't failed me. Maybe there is something to the mind games that you know. Does the Power Glove have a better input system? Maybe so. I don't know. But that is not for me to decipher now. That is something that we'll decipher upon this game's release when it does get here. Now, I know a lot of people have been talking about how could they do that to Chun-Li's legs? Why does Chun-Li look like this? And look, textures are one of the few things that I can see being updated. Some things that I can see being touched up in the next oncoming months before this game's speculated release. Even though Capcom announced it, as we've said before, their updates and their dates have not always been on the up and up and have not always come through right when they said so. I mean, we all remember when that story mode was supposed to come out. How about Jury and Street Fighter V? Remember all that? Yeah, how'd that go for everyone? But even if we peel that back, looking at Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, what is about to pop on the screen is probably the most agonizing goddamn thing about all of this. You see, I'm fine with the release date. I'm fine with the fact that you guys have decided to take 2 of the most iconic characters in both the Marvel universe and the Capcom universe and mold them into one, Ultron Sigma. But you mean to tell me that the final boss is going to be Ultron Sigma? You mean to tell me that Ultron will be in the vanilla base game, but Sigma is going to be DLC? You know what that tells me, Capcom? You know what that honestly tells me? That tells me you didn't give a fuck about anything that was going to happen with your fans and how they would see this as a shady business practice. See, what this tells me is you guys knew that you might not be able to sell your season pass after the debacle that went down with Street Fighter V. You knew that this season pass thing might not work out for you guys. So what do you do to get people to get that season pass in order to expect 6 characters? You put one of the staples that you know is the backbone of this story, Sigma, and you decide, oh, we'll put half of it in the game. We'll put Ultron in the game. We'll put Ultron Sigma as the final boss. But we'll keep the one that we know is going to sell the most behind a paywall. And what's funny to me is we don't even know half of the regular roster, and we already know how many DLC characters we're getting. Like, this is something that I can't even forgive Injustice 2 for. You shouldn't be telling me that you have all these plans for DLC and then be able to tell me who some of these DLC characters are, which Injustice 2, I'll give it credit. They didn't do that. They didn't tell me who the DLC characters were, but we know who some of the DLC characters are going to be before we even know the entire main roster. That is insane to me. That is a load of horseshit. Now, maybe they'll save face, and maybe they explained it wrong, and maybe Sigma will be playable at launch, but you just have to pre-order the deluxe edition. The $90 version, which just comes with, season pass, things of that nature, blah, blah, blah. Then there is a $200 version. Now, if you're a super collector and you're just a super Marvel guy and you want the Infinity Gems and you want the little diorama things, I'm not going to tell you what to do with your money in that regard. If you really want to back this game and you just really want to just EX nut all over everything and just spend all your meter and blow your entire load all over this Marvel vs. Capcom universe experience, then I'm not going to tell you what to do with your money. But what I am going to say is, at the end of the day, you can buy a PS4, an Xbox One, maybe in a year, probably a Nintendo Switch for this price. And some of those are bundled with a game. Yet for $200, you're just going to buy a whole bunch of peripheral things that actually add nothing to the game and a couple of little rocks that glow in the dark, which you could probably get in retail for like $25 in any other capacity. But because it comes with Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, all of a sudden it's worth 2 thumbs up and $200? Get the fuck out of here, okay? That is insane. That is nutty. That would be like me saying, this right here is worth $180. Would you pay $180 for this? Of course you wouldn't. Would you pay $90 for this? Of course you wouldn't. You wouldn't even pay $60 for this. But you'll pay $200 for a couple of rocks that you'll probably look at for about 25 minutes. And that's when you unbox it, put the batteries in, open the box to look at them when they're on, show them off on your Twitch streams, because we all know we do that nowadays. I mean, I'm doing it on a YouTube video with that. And then after that, that's about the extent of what you're going to be doing. After that, that's pretty much about all you're going to get out of the gems. Now, for those people who collect action figures, you could probably get these things for $10 a pop. As soon as this game comes out after 4 months, I'm sure you'll be able to get those things for $10, $25, $30 a pop. They don't look like they're going to be that special due to the simple fact that they don't have that huge level of detail, that at least from what we could see off the video alone. So, at the end of the day, Capcom, you fucked up. Because we see right through the Sigma shit. You have an auto combo system. You are making this game simple to play for the casual market. Even though Marvel vs. Capcom has always prided itself on going the extra mile with its level of execution and its barrier to entry in that regard. It's fucking shameful, Capcom. You're going to have a lot of shit to clean up before we're willing to just accept this. Because you're still not off the hook for Street Fighter V. You're not. I don't care what type of Capcom fanboys have told you otherwise. But you're not. In any way, shape, or form, this is looking like a whole steaming pile of horseshit. But I've been your host, Dr. Rectango. Thank you for sitting in with me. I'll see you all when the fire's set, and when I return next week, we'll be playing a lot of video games on my Twitch channel. So without further ado, I'm out. You guys have a great weekend. Peace. Sayonara.